Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, released in 1968, featured a tablet, a device the characters used to watch news in space. This is almost an accurate prediction of modern tablets, such as the iPad, which only appeared in 2010. But what makes this device in the movie so unique? In 2011, during a legal dispute between Samsung and Apple over tablet patents, Samsung used footage from Kubrick's movie as proof that the idea of a flat touchscreen device existed long before Apple's designs. The judge even noted the similarities between the devices in question. This is not just a prediction of technology, but a case where Hollywood has literally influenced the real world of technology and jurisprudence. In the Star Trek 1966-1969 series, the Enterprise crew uses folding communicators to communicate, a direct prototype of cell phones, especially 90s flip phones like the Motorola StarTAC. Also in later episodes and spin-offs, but the idea originated in the original, PADDs, personal access display device, appear. Flat touchscreen devices for data reading, work and communication, very similar to tablets. Bottom line, these communicators inspired the creator of the first cell phone, Martin Cooper, he admitted it himself, and PADDs predicted the iPad and similar devices that appeared as late as the 2010s. And that's just the beginning of the party of predictions from Hollywood. Let's move on. In the 50s science fiction TV series Space Patrol, the characters use small handheld devices for video communication, sort of like a cell phone with a screen. It was incredibly futuristic for an era when even regular phones were bulky devices. Today, this is epitomized in smartphones with video calling, FaceTime, WhatsApp. In the 50s, the idea of a handheld device with video seemed like a wild fantasy. Or here is another example. In the movie Blade Runner 1982, Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford, uses a device with a screen to analyze photos and videos, zooming in and examining details. It's not exactly a tablet in the classic form, but a compact touchscreen device with a screen that resembles modern gadgets. In reality, devices similar to tablets and smartphones with image and video processing functions became mass-produced only in the 2000s. For example, iPhone with its pinch-to-zoom function. How's that sound? In the British movie The Tunnel 1935, about the construction of the transatlantic tunnel, there is an amazing scene. Two men communicate via video call using a device built into the wall. It's strikingly reminiscent of modern Skype or Zoom. In 1935, such technology was pure fantasy. Television was in its infancy, and video communications seemed unthinkable. The movie predicted the future of communications decades before they actually existed. Friends, write in the comments, what do you think about the technologies that were predicted in the movies? Your opinion, are these just coincidences and fantasies of screenwriters, or mankind has long been prepared for a new technological era? Hollywood is an instrument of influence on consciousness that shapes reality. We are not just being shown movies, we are being prepared for a new, programmed reality. Strange statement, will you say? Have you ever heard of the Overton Window or window of discourse? This is a concept proposed by American political scientist Joseph Overton in the 1990s. It describes the range of ideas that society considers acceptable for discussion at a given point in time. Ideas outside this window are perceived as radical, absurd, or even unthinkable. However, the window is not static. It can shift under the influence of culture, media, events, or deliberate efforts. The shifting process usually goes through stages, from unthinkable to acceptable, reasonable, popular, and finally normal or enshrined in policy. For example, in 1950s, the idea of legalizing same-sex marriage was outside the Overton window in most countries, unthinkable to discuss. Gradually, through movies, books, public campaigns, it moved into the acceptable zone, and by the 2010s, it had become the norm in a number of countries, such as the US and EU countries. Cinema that predicts technologies or events often acts as a tool that expands or shifts the Overton window. It doesn't just fantasize, but makes ideas that seemed unthinkable, feasible, and discussable, preparing society to accept them. When an idea appears in movies over and over again, it ceases to be shocking. It's hard to imagine, but 100 years ago, movies showcased technology that could not even be dreamed of at the time. And in this regard, the question arises again and again. Where did the writers of these movies draw inspiration from, or what were they smoking? Let's look at stunning examples of technology shown in movies almost a century ago. Metropolis, directed by Fritz in 1927, is a silent masterpiece of German expressionism and one of the first full-length science fiction films. Among its many innovative ideas, it features a scene with a device that resembles video calls. The device looks like a massive machine with a screen and camera, something between a television set and a telephone. In 1927, this was pure fantasy. Television was just beginning to develop, the first public demonstration was in 1925, and the idea of personal video calls seemed unthinkable. Lang was inspired by real experiments with television in Germany. In the 1920s, engineers like Walter Brock were already working on image transmission, but it was a long way from mass application. The video calls in the movie are an extrapolation of these ideas into the future. Unlike many sci-fi movies, Lang consulted scientists and engineers to make his vision of technology seem plausible. Metropolis set the tone of the science fiction genre. Its aesthetics and ideas, including video calling, influenced movies like Blade Runner and Star Wars. Video calls became a standard in sci-fi, normalizing the concept for viewers. Although there is no direct connection between the movie and the invention of video communication, Metropolis inspired generations of engineers and futurists. The first working video telephony system appeared in 1936 in Germany from Deutsche Post. And mass development began with the AT&T picture phone in the 1960s. The movie foreshadowed this trend. Metropolis is a prophecy. In it, Fritz showed video calls 19 years ago before Zoom was created, turning an unthinkable idea into an image of the future. A little bit about smart glasses and drones. Back to the Future 2, a movie directed by Robert Zemeckis in 1989, is an icon in science fiction comedy. According to the plot, the character of Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, is transported to the year 2015. Among the many future technologies in the picture, we can see smart glasses and flying drones that foreshadowed modern drones. In the future of 2015, the children in McFly's family wear glasses with displays that allow them to take calls and view information right in front of their eyes. It's similar to smart glasses like Apple Vision or Google Glass. And in a scene at the 40th minute, a flying camera drone from USA Today is presented to film a report on events on the streets of Hill Valley, a direct allusion to modern drones for filming and delivery. In 1989, drones existed only as military prototypes, for example the RQ-2 Pioneer. The idea of civilian drones with cameras seemed absurd, but by 2015, DJI Phantom and Amazon Prime Air made them a reality. Interesting point, the movie was released in 1989, and the action takes place on October 21, 2015. On this day in real life, fans celebrated Back to the Future Day, and Nike released sneakers with auto-lacing from the movie, another prediction that came true. Back to the Future 2 solidified the image of a future with flying gadgets and smart devices, influencing movies like Iron Man, Tony Stark's glasses, and the movie Mission Impossible. Okay, what about the robots, you say? In Fritz Lang's already mentioned Metropolis, 1927, appears Maria, or Machine Man, the first humanoid robot, genoid in cinema. She is created by scientist Rotwan as a mechanical replica of a living woman to manipulate the masses. The idea of anthropomorphic robots was science fiction in 1927. The word robot did not appear until 1920 in Carol Capek's play RUR. And real humanoid machines like Honda's Asimo did not begin to be developed until the late 20th century. Later, the design of Maria was inspired by the image of the C-3PO robot from the movie Star Wars. You can't get past Star Wars itself, 1977, which featured versions of humanoid and domestic robots decades before they appeared. For example, C-3PO is a humanoid protocol robot, and R2-D2 is a small home assistant. They serve humans, communicate, and solve problems. In 1977, robots were far from this level of autonomy. Today, C-3PO resembles the social robot Sophia, 2016 from Hanson Robotics. And R2-D2 resembles smart devices like Google Home. Now we're getting close to the vastness of space. Space travel and a multi-stage rocket is what was featured in Fritz Lang's film The Woman in the Moon, Frau in Mond, 1929. It tells the story of a flight to the moon on a rocket designed with the scientific ideas of the time in mind. The film is the first to show a multi-stage rocket, a concept where spent selections are discarded to save fuel and increase range. Multi-stage rockets became a mainstay of space programs much later than 29. Werner von Braun, a key NASA engineer and creator of the Saturn V rocket used in the Apollo missions, recognized the film's influence on his designs. In 1969, Apollo 11 successfully landed man on the moon, fulfilling Lang's dream. The principle itself had been theorized by Konstantin Tsiolkovsky back in the early 20th century, but the visualization in the film made it popular. Interesting facts about the movie. Lang introduced a countdown before rocket launch. 10, 9, 8. This became a standard in real-life flights and first appeared specifically in Woman on the Moon. For credibility, Lang consulted engineer Hermann Oberth, the father of German space science, who later worked with von Braun. The Nazis seized the movie in the 30s, fearing it revealed the secrets of rocket science. Copies were destroyed, but one copy survived. While Elon Musk was still studying at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, the 1990 cult film Total Recall hit the screens. Paul Verhoeven's movie, based on a short story by Philip K. Dick, takes us to a future where Mars has been colonized. People live in underground cities with artificial atmosphere, and mutants fight for oxygen. The movie shows such technologies as autonomous cabs, holographic projections, memory-altering devices, and drilling the planet for resources. Apparently, this tape had a big impact on Musk. Today, SpaceX is actively working on missions to Mars. The Starship plan calls for settlements to be established by the 2030s, and projects like Mars One, though failed, were inspired by ideas from Total Recall. In the movie, oxygen is extracted from Martian soil. Today, NASA is testing MOXIE, Mars Oxygen ISRU experiment, a device that successfully produces oxygen from CO2 on Mars from 2021 on the Perseverance rover. And Quaid's hologram, Arnold Schwarzenegger to distract enemies, is a prototype for modern AR/VR technologies like Microsoft HoloLens. Total Recall foresaw not only the colonization of Mars, but also the technologies we're testing today for that purpose, from drones to atmospheric conversion. And I can't help but add this. DeLorean DMC-12 flying car from Back to the Future 1985. That moment at the end of the movie when Doc Brown returns from the future in a modified DeLorean, interrupting Marty and his girlfriend's tender kiss. Oh, what a moment that was. Doc's phrase, "What roads? We don't need a road to accelerate," after which the car soars into the air and drifts off into the future. This episode will stay in my heart forever, as will be in Elon Musk's heart. I'm sure of it. Well, friends, if you ever see the video up to this point, you're ready for dessert. It's time to look into the future, which now seems as unreal to us as it does to the viewers of the aforementioned movies. Just imagine exoskeletons, lightsabers, digital immortality, and many other things seem like science fiction to us. But what if I told you that it already exists? Exoskeletons and smart suits were featured in 2008's Iron Man. In reality, exoskeletons already walking the Earth. Sarkis Robotics is creating Guardian XO, an exoskeleton that turns humans into machines with Terminator strength, lifting up to 90 kg without strain. Suit X makes suits for workers and rescue workers, helping them recover from injuries and work where machines can't yet do. Imagine a firefighter in a suit like this punching through walls to rescue people from a burning skyscraper. That's awesome! Eccentric billionaire Peter Thiel is funding projects to create superhuman suits for special forces. By the way, you can see the crazy investments of Peter Thiel and others here. Tactile suits of the future. Tesla suit makes virtual reality clothing where you can feel the wind, rain, or even the impact of an opponent in a VR game. It's no longer just gamification, it's a step towards simulation where the line between reality and fantasy is blurred. Tony Stark's flight is closer than it seems. Jetpack Aviation is testing jetpacks that go up to 200 km per hour, and Gravity Industries is organizing a real Ironman race in the sky. What if tomorrow a startup like XJet started handing out jetpacks to couriers to deliver packages over metropolitan traffic jams? Would you want to put yourself in as such a courier? Crazy future, right? More goodies? Crazy factor. There are crazy projects like Teresa Movement, where people believe AI will become the repository of souls, and startup Mindbank AI promises to create a digital doppelganger in as little as 10 years. The Hollywood thriller is coming to life, and we're on the verge of asking the question, are we humans or just data? Transcendence 2014 presented us with the idea of consciousness in digital, immortality or madness. A scientist dies, but his mind comes to life in a computer. He becomes a god in the digital world, controlling everything through a network. It's a frightening and mesmerizing idea. What if we could live forever by uploading ourselves to the cloud? Already today, Elon Musk's Neuralink is implanting chips into our brains to connect us to machines. So far, it helps paralyzed people control computers with their minds, but Musk dreams further to digitalize consciousness so that we can live in simulations. Imagine you die, but your mind keeps arguing with your friends in the meta-universe. Nectone. This startup offers to freeze your brain after death and save its software for future downloads. They're already testing this on animals, and it sounds like science fiction, but the first customers have already signed up. Ready Player One 2018 showcases a deeply immersive virtual reality experience. The events of the movie unfold in 2045. The world of Oasis is not just a game, but a new life. You put on your helmet, and there it is. The wind ruffles your hair, the sand crunches under your feet, and the enemy's blow hurts your body. It's a virtuality that you live with your whole being, from the tips of your fingers to the depths of your consciousness.
The metaverse.
The metaverse.
In our world, a meta-universe is on the way. Meta is pouring billions into creating a digital world where you can work, hang out, or fight dragons from the comfort of your couch. Their Quest VR helmets give you a taste of the future today and whole cities in the cloud tomorrow. Fact: in 2023, Korean scientists have created a flexible e-skin with sensors. It transmits texture and pressure to VR. Soon you'll be able to pet a virtual cat and feel its fur. Are you still alive? Let me know in the comments if you are. What we've got in Star Wars: lightsabers sizzle as they slice through the air, blasters shoot bright beams, and starships sizzle enemies with energy cannons. This is an epic saga where light and energy are the weapons of heroes and villains. You think it's sci-fi? Well, it's not. Lockheed Martin has released a 300 kilowatts laser. It's already incinerating drones and missiles in mid-air like the Battle of Hoth. The military is testing it at firing ranges, and this is just the beginning of Star Wars on Earth. Raytheon creates portable laser systems that can be mounted on a jeep or a ship. One shot turns a target a kilometer away into smoke. Hollywood is not just a movie, it's a prophet that looks into the future. From multi-stage rockets in Woman on the Moon to Martian colonies in Total Recall and flying cars in Back to the Future, movies have predicted technologies, events, and even our dreams long before they become reality. They're not just screen fantasies, they're a window into tomorrow. What did you enjoy the most? Write in the comments. What do you want the next video to be about? Leave your ideas, we read every feedback. And if you like our videos, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss Hollywood predicting the future again.